What's up, guys? Average Kiwi Guy here. How y'all doing? So we just got done with the Bethesda E3 press conference, and whew, jeez, that was a roller coaster, man. That was a roller coaster and a half. But we're gonna talk about Fallout 76, the online survival game, which a lot of people kind of stuck up and said like, hey, this is what it's gonna be, and I think a lot of people are hoping like, no, it's not gonna be that. It's gonna be like like kind of like New Vegas or something like that. No, it's an online survival game. Um, and there's some interesting stuff. There's some good stuff about it, but then there's also some stuff that's a little concerning and a little thing like that. And we're just kind of go into it, see what we know, what we do, and just see like, is this the Fallout game that we kind of wanted? So like I said, online, they said that it's gonna be, you won't be able to see like what server, so it's not something where you're like, okay, I want to be on that server, or like, okay, guys are gonna be on this server, come in, like that sort of thing. I don't know if you can make your like a private server and then bring in only friends and stuff like that. I really hope that that is a thing, that you can make yourself private and then invite people in, and that way you're not got a whole bunch of people around the map doing stuff, that you can have these isolated games. I'm thinking more for like, you could do like badass like RP stuff. But I think it might only be like 25 man like servers sort of thing. So a little bit like Sea of Thieves. And it's gonna be like phase in, phase out, type thing. I'm not a big proponent of that. I'm not a big like the whole thing with online survival games, right, is their ability to make a server and and to have an RP. Like for me, like RP is a big thing for online survival. Like you can do so much with that stuff, and I would love to see some Fallout like RP stuff. Are you kidding me? Like role playing in a Fallout universe, and like you could be like nearly anything. Like you'd be like freaking like Ravagers, or you could be like, try and make these own little communities and stuff. That would be awesome. But I don't think it's going to go that way. I think this is going to be very much like Sea of Thieves and kind of disappoint us a little bit in that way. Um, so I was a little bit disappointed in that. So yeah, everything was like we thought. Like was Fallout with so everything was like we thought with Shelter 76. It's one of those control vaults. That means there's no crazy experiments. Basically, that just means that you are all good to just sort of go out and do your thing. They showed us like basically, I think it's going to be the moment when you wake up, and like that's when you head out and do your thing. And like the whole thing was like, oh, you slept in and everyone else has already left, and no one thought to grab you because it's like reclamation day and you stayed up the night before and drank too much. Um, so yeah, that was so yeah, so that was sort of the only real like we got shots of gameplay, we got little bits of gameplay, but we know that was the most sort of longest span of gameplay, I guess, that we had. Um, so yeah, so the vault was kind of what we expected, but the game itself is essentially like sort of Rust and all that, where you build a base, you're going around scavenging. I think there is questing, like you can go off and quest and do things for different people. I do not know if there are actual NPCs. I did not see any in the trailer itself. That not that I know of. I might have to go back and have a look. But I mean, there could be maybe like NPC towns and stuff that you could go and get quests from. Apparently this map is the like 4 times bigger than any Fallout map that's been before, like even Fallout 4. So that's pretty insane, but it makes sense if you're gonna have like 20 something people on it. They're all gonna want to make their bases and go off and explore. So then they started going to like, okay, well, you're gonna have real people, like the people that you meet in there are gonna be real people. And that's what made me think, like, is there actual NPCs in this one? Is there not? Like, we're not sure. And they did say you can play it solo, but you can play any survival games, online survival games solo. That just means that you don't have any backup and everyone else is a real person and you're going to have to deal with them. Like, that's generally what it is. I don't know if you can turn it like, there are some, online, There are some survival games where you can just say, I just want a private game where you just, you have the world to yourself and away you go. You just make your own base and deal with the PvE side of it, not the actual PvP. Um, but they sort of showed us like, oh, hey, not everyone's going to be friendly. Guess what? In most of those games, not many people are friendly, man. Not unless you got friends in there. Like, you'll get some people that just want to come, sort of hang around and all the rest of it, but you'll get a lot of people that will just shoot first and ask questions later. Especially if you can loot your the person that you killed. If that's a thing, people are just gonna shoot you. They want your stuff. So that hopefully that's not a thing. Hopefully they can just like if they ransack your base, they ransack your base. That's part of online survival games. But if they can shoot you and loot you, then there is gonna be no like, oh hey pal, how you doing? Like, yeah, you want to be friends? There's not gonna be any of that. It's gonna be like Sea of Thieves. They're gonna shoot you first and not worry about it. That's what's gonna happen. Game developers can hope and all the rest of it that their community won't do that. But I mean, it's good to be optimistic, but that just ain't gonna happen. So that's a thing. But you can bring your friends in. You can sort of build bases. But the question I have is that this sort of phase in, phase out thing, because you can build your base anywhere you want on the map. I'm sure there's like places which you can't, like maybe there's some like little shack thing, maybe, I'm not sure, but you can build your base anywhere you want. What happens when someone builds their base on the same spot as you and you phase into their server? What happens there? Does your base move? Do they see my base, not theirs? And then, or do I see their base, not mine? But what happens to my base? Things like that. Like, if I bring in my friend, say my friend's been playing, he has a base on the same spot I have a base. What happens there? Like, this is the questions. These are the stuff. Like, if you're allowing people to, build these bases on servers that, on games that are flowing between servers, and like, these players are moving and that stuff follows you. How does that work? Like, they did sort of go into like this, like, I think it was like a camp module where I think you can actually pack up your base into it and move it. I don't know if all this stuff comes with you or not, or if it's just a way of, okay, now you can build on that area, and the area is a select, sort of size sort of thing. I'm not sure about that, but the way they described it was like you can pick it up and take it with you, sort of thing. So I'm not sure. I'd like to see videos of that, of the base building and them explaining it and stuff. Apparently, they sort of called it a softcore survival game. So, when you die, I don't think it's the end of your character. Does that mean that your stuff stays there like a lot of survival games do? Like, yeah, you die. You can die in a survival game. It's fine. But you'll either respawn at a random spot or you'll respawn at a bed. And then you have to run your way back to where you died and try and find your bag or whatever it gets left in. They just said like, oh, your character doesn't die forever. I was like, well, there isn't too many ones that do that. Like, there are like survival games where you can like institute that, like that's a rule on the server and that's part of the roleplay thing. But I don't know. I don't know about that one. Like I said, yeah, if you want to join on a friend's game, that means that you can your progression goes with you, so there's no like worrying about losing stuff with going between different games, which I mean I think that's a pretty normal thing. And then for me, probably the most worrying thing, the nuclear missiles thing. Now, like, I can understand the ability to siege someone else's base, like that's just part of the course with freaking survival games. Like, that's what you expect. That's why you build defenses. That's why you have those things. It's not just PvE stuff, it's the PvP. But the fact that someone can go around, collect these nuclear codes, and you need like, I think you need like about 5 of them or something, and go to a nuclear site. And I mean, these are not like easy to get to, but like from the sort of example they showed was that you actually had to have like power suits and stuff and all that. You can go to these nuclear sites, launch missiles at a specific spot, and wipe out everything in that spot. And it looked like a pretty decent zone. So say you know, like, oh, there's a big group of people setting up their bases in this area. All gone. Like all your stuff disappears. So all that work, all that, getting those freaking materials, all that scavenging, all that stuff, all that building, all that time that you did just got wiped out by some guy pushing a button. No. I don't like that at all. At all. Like, yeah, it could be fun, but someone like, yeah, it'll take work, but trolls, I know, yeah, it's gonna take work to get it, but trolls will do the work to get it. You know it will. And and people are gonna like, yo, I got the freaking nuclear missile. You better give me what I want, or I'm gonna blow your damn base to sky high. You'll have people going around threatening people, that like, hey, I'm gonna blow up your base. I'm gonna blow up your base. Like, that's gonna happen. I'm gonna blow up your base. Like, it's a worrying thing. It's like a mechanic for griefing. It really is. Like, it's an unnecessary mechanic. Like, it serves no purpose other than to just destroy other players, like, pride and fun. Like, some people just love going into these games to build bases. Like, that's their thing. And you're literally made a mechanic to destroy all of that. I thought Fallout was mainly dealing with the fallout of nuclear missiles. That, hey, people might have learnt not to shoot nuclear missiles off all the time because at least fallout everywhere. So why would you have a mechanic in a game where you're still shooting nukes off? I mean, like, yeah, it might seem like a fun and like a funny idea. It's not. It's not when you're gonna lose everything. I just don't know about that. I really don't. I really don't. Like I don't know if I don't know if you can make defenses against that. Like maybe you have like some anti-nuke things, like a bunker or something that you could put down into the ground. So you could put valuables into it so people can't take that stuff. Because they did say once the nuke drops that these like rare materials pop up. So there is an incentive to do it. Because I'm surely like, and there's crafting mats and all the rest of it that are gonna happen, and like these blueprints and all that. So there's gonna be like later on freaking blueprints and like stuff to you're gonna need this material. So people are gonna want to do this, like even without the whole thrill of destroying people's bases and all that. And you can't tell me they're like, oh no, they're not going to aim for people's bases. They're going to aim for people's bases. They're going to aim for the biggest cluster of players and they're going to shoot. What's going to happen? So yeah. That's my worry. That's my worry. Not the fact that Fallout is now turned into an online survival game, or at least this iteration of it. It feels like a bit of a spin-off thing. Because apparently it was sort of started its life out as a multiplayer option or something that was maybe going to be in Fallout 4, and they sort of like put it aside, put out Fallout 4, and then they worked on it later. It does feel like that. It does feel like it's using assets from Fallout 4 and they're just making another game. But there are differences. Like, there's going to be no VATS. VATS can't be a thing because how are you going to do VATS when it stops time? Like, everyone's just going to stand still. Like, the guy that's using the VATS against you, you're just stuck there like, oh shit, he's got VATS. It'd be the first person to do VATS. That would be it. I don't think it's going to be a thing. I think it's just going to be straight up just normal shooting. Which is then like, is Fallout shooting, like the Fallout sort of FPS sort of thing, Is it good enough? I don't know. I don't know. Um, Look, honestly, I would have rather them just make, like, if you want to make a multiplayer thing, like, make it like a co-op adventure thing, like where you can bring friends in and all that stuff, but have it a story, like you're very good at doing, Bethesda. But they blatantly said, like, hey, we really wanted to try this online thing. We really wanted to do it. I don't know. I don't know. And I mean, they said they're gonna have a beta for it, but apparently, I think maybe access to the beta could be mostly through the pre-order stuff, which I'm never a big proponent of. They did sort of boast the collector's edition already, which they did do that with Fallout 4 as well. But the collector's edition has like the helmet, has the power armor helmet, which is pretty cool. But they didn't leave a I don't think there's a actual price out for it yet, but you know it's going to be pretty pricey. So I'm still not sure on it, man. I need more answers. You know, I need some more, like, I think this one like answered a lot of questions, but it's put forth a lot more. It's put forth a lot more, and I don't know. I don't know. It feels like, is this really the Fallout that we wanted? Is this really something that we really wanted? But yeah. I mean, I'm someone who likes building a base. I do like that sort of thing, and you know, the building a base thing in Fallout 4 was a bit derivative because it was just for you. But we'll I'll reserve judgment on it completely until I actually play it, until I actually see the mechanics and I know the things, you know, and actually know some information, you know, about certain things and stuff. But it wasn't the thing that like I was super excited about coming out of Bethesda's conference. I was probably a little more excited for Rage 2 and like Doom Eternal, well, Doom 2 than this. I really was. Because that's the more traditional Bethesda. And then obviously the two big drops at the end of the conference, which I felt like kind of saved the conference for them after they started spouting out about mobile games. So yeah. So hopefully we get some answers about that. Hopefully we get some answers about all the Fallout 76 stuff, like, you know, server size, how the server stuff works. Can we make private servers and stuff like that? That'd be a good thing to hear from them. But yeah. All right, guys, that's it for us. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate it. We are all over E3. I'm sort of picking and choosing the games that I'm really interested in, that I really want to talk about. And then we're also doing some wrap ups too, so that's a thing. So check out the channel, have a look around, see if you got anything that you like. Have a look, have a view, all the rest of it. But if you did like it, that subscribe button, we'd really appreciate it. And yeah. All right, guys, catch us later. Peace. Bye.